Let's start with Hare Krishna Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha. Yes. We are reading Bhagwat Geeta as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are in chapter 7, text 16. Text 17. I think, yeah. I don't know which. I think we did till 17, right? Text 18. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and the most perfect goal. Let's read the purport. It is not that devotees who are less complete in knowledge are not dear to the Lord. The Lord says that all are magnanimous because anyone who comes to the Lord for any purpose is called a Mahatma, a great soul. The devotees who want some benefit out of devotional service are accepted by the Lord because there is an exchange of affection. Out of affection, they ask the Lord for some material benefit, and when they get it, they become so satisfied that they also advance in devotional service. But the devotee in full knowledge is considered to be very dear to the Lord because his only purpose is to serve the Supreme Lord with love and devotion. Such a devotee cannot live a second without contacting or serving the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is very fond of his devotee and cannot be separated from him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.68, the Lord says, in quotations, the devotees are always in my heart, and I am always in the hearts of the devotees. The devotee does not know anything beyond me, and I also cannot forget the devotee. There is a very intimate relationship between me and the pure devotees. Pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch, and therefore they are very much dear to me. Let's move to text 19. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Let's read the purport. The living entity, while executing devotional service or transcendental rituals, after many births, may actually become situated in transcendental pure knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of the spiritual realization. In the beginning of the spiritual realization, while one is trying to give up one's attachment to materialism, there is some leaning towards impersonalism. But when one is further advanced, he can understand that there are activities in the spiritual life and that these activities constitute devotional service. Yes. So, devotional service basically means you serve without expectation, without any return. That is called devotional service, right? Realizing this, he becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrenders to him. At such a time, one can understand that Lord Sri Krishna's mercy is everything. that He is the cause of all causes and that His material manifestation is not independent from Him. He realizes the material world to be a perverted reflection of spiritual variegatedness and realizes that in everything there is a relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Thus, he thinks of everything in relation to Vasudeva or Sri Krishna. Such a universal vision of Vasudeva precipitates one's full surrender to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna as the highest goal. Such surrendered great souls are very rare. This verse is very nicely explained in the third chapter, verses 14 and 15 of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. In the Chandogya Upanishad 5.1.15, it is said, "Na vai vacho na chakshumshi na shrotrani na manamsiti achaksate prana iti eva chakshate prano hiya evaitani sarvani bhavanti." In the body of a living being, neither the power to speak, nor the power to see, nor the power to hear, nor the power to think is the prime factor. It is life which is the center of all activities. Quotes close. Similarly, Lord Vasudeva, or the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, is the prime entity in everything. In this body, there are powers of speaking, seeing, hearing, mental activities, etc. But these are not important if not related to Supreme Lord. And because Vasudeva is all pervading and everything is Vasudeva, the devotee surrenders in full knowledge. Yes. Let's move to better. Okay. Let's move to text 20. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Let's read the purport. Those who are freed from all material contaminations surrender unto Supreme Lord and engage in his devotional service. As long as the material contamination is not completely washed off, they are by nature non-devotees. But even those who have material desires and who resort to the Supreme Lord are not so much attracted by external nature. Because of approaching the right goal, they soon become free from all material lust. Yes. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is recommended that whether one is a pure devotee and is free from all material desires, or is full of material desires, or desires liberation from material contamination, he should in all cases surrender to Vasudeva and worship him. As stated in Bhagavatam 2.3.10, less intelligent people who have lost their spiritual sense take shelter of demigods for immediate fulfillment of material desires. Generally, such people do not go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are in the lower modes of nature, ignorance and passion, and therefore worship various demigods. Following the rules and regulations of worship, they are satisfied. The worshippers of demigods are motivated by small desires and do not know how to reach the supreme goal. But a devotee of the Supreme Lord is not misguided because in Vedic literature, sorry, in Vedic literature, there are recommendations for worshipping different gods for different purposes. Yes, for example, a diseased man is recommended to worship the sun. Yes. Those who are not devotees of the Lord think that for certain purposes demigods are better than the Supreme Lord. But a pure devotee knows that the Supreme Lord is the matter of all, is the master of all. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5.1.142, it is said, Ekele Ishvara Krishna Ara Sababhratya. Only the Supreme Personality of God and Krishna is the master and all others are servants. Therefore, a pure devotee never goes to demigods for satisfaction of his material needs. He depends on the Supreme Lord, and the pure devotee is satisfied with whatever he gives. Yes. Let's move to text 21. I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular date. Yes. This is how gods play. I'm sorry. Let's read the purport. God has given independence to everyone. Therefore, if a person desires to have material enjoyment and wants very sincerely to have such facilities from the material demigods, the Supreme Lord, as a super soul in everyone's heart, understands and gives facilities to such persons. As the Supreme Father of all living entities, he does not interfere with their independence, but gives all facilities so that they can fulfill their material desires. Some may ask why the all powerful God gives facilities to the living entities for enjoying this material world and so lets them fall into the trap of the illusory energy. The answer is that if this yes, exactly, right? Why are we trapped then in this material world? Why does he want us to go through all this? The answer is that if the Supreme Lord as a super soul does not give such facilities, then there is no meaning to independence. So we say no that you will feel freedom once you are detached. So till the time your material desires are not fulfilled, you will not feel detached from it. I'll give you a very simple example. For example, you want an expensive phone. Let's say you want the latest iPhone. Okay, it's costing you around 2 lakh rupees. Now, till the time you get it, you are struggling for it, you are praying for it, and you are just in awe of it. Okay. But once you get it, what is the feeling? That feeling stays for one day. And then the next day is the simple phone which does the same functions which all other phones do, and you are not doing anything new in it. And it becomes a routine. So, what has happened? You are independent of this phone now, you are detached from the phone, from the want of this phone, right? So once you are satisfied of the material things, once material things are with you, you become detached. You are like, fine, now what's next, right? So you see the nature of a human mind and you see that how we are getting attached and detached. Yeah. So are we going to actually look at our phone and admire it? Wow, what a phone, what a phone, what a phone. Every day? No. Right? So this is what they are trying to say. Therefore, he gives everyone full independence, whatever one likes. But his ultimate instruction we find in the Bhagwat Geeta is one should give up all other engagements and fully surrender unto him. That will make man happy. Both the living entities and the demigods are subordinates to the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the living entity cannot worship the demigod by his own desire, nor can the demigod bestow any benediction without the supreme will. Yes, that in worshipping the demigod and in receiving from the demigod also there is a will of Sri Krishna. Yes. As it is, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of God. Generally, persons who are distressed in the material world go to the demigods, as they are advised in the Vedic literature. A person wanting some particular thing may worship such and such a demigod. For example, a deceased person is recommended to worship the sun god. A person wanting education may worship the Lord, the goddess of learning, Saraswati. And a person wanting a beautiful wife may worship the goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. In this way, there are recommendations in the Shastras, Vedic scriptures, for different modes of worship of different demigods. And because a particular living entity wants to enjoy a particular material facility, the Lord inspires him with a strong desire to achieve that benediction from the particular demigod, and so he successfully receives the benediction. The particular mode of the devotional attitude of the living entity towards a particular type of demigod is also arranged by the Supreme Lord. Yes. The demigods cannot infuse the living entities with such an affinity, but he is the Supreme Lord, or the Super Soul who is present in the hearts of all the living entities. Krishna gives impetus to man to worship certain demigods. The demigods are actually different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they have no independence. In Vedic literature, it is stated the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Super Soul is also present within the heart of the demigod. Therefore, he arranges through the demigod to fulfill the desire of the living entity. Yeah, so beautiful. But both the demigod and the living entity are dependent on the supreme will. Yes, they are not independent. Yes, that's right. Hmm. Let's move to text 22. Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desire. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Yes. Let's read the purport. The demigods cannot award benedictions to their devotees without the permission of the Supreme Lord. The living entity may forget that everything is the property of the Supreme Lord, but the demigods do not forget. So, the worship of demigods and achievement of desired results are due not to the demigods but to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by arrangement. The less intelligent living entity does not know this, and therefore he foolishly goes to the demigods for some benefit. But the pure devotee, when in need of something, prays only to the Supreme Lord. Asking for material benefit, however, is not a sign of a pure devotee. A living entity goes to the demigods usually because he is mad to fulfill his lust. Yeah. So, lust is not just the lust that we think, lust is also desire in 10x mode. Okay. This happens when something undue is desired by the living entity and the Lord Himself does not fulfill the desire. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that one who worships the Supreme Lord and at the same time desires material enjoyment is contradictory in his desires. Devotional service to the Supreme Lord and the worship of a demigod cannot be on the same platform because Worship of a demigod is material and devotional service to the Supreme Lord is completely spiritual. Correct. So, for the living entity who desires to return to Godhead, material desires are impediments. A pure devotee of the Lord is therefore not awarded the material benefits desired by less intelligent entities, who therefore prefer to worship demigods of the material world rather than engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Yes. So, this is the main difference. So, let's move to text 23. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Yes. Let's read the purport. Some commentators on the Bhagwat Geeta say that one who worships a demigod can reach the Supreme Lord, but here it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigods go to the different planetary systems where various demigods are situated, just as a worshipper of the sun achieves the sun, or a worshipper of the demigod of the moon achieves the moon. Similarly, if anyone wants to worship a demigod like Indra, he can attain that particular god's planet. It is not that everyone, regardless of whatever demigod is worshipped, sorry, will reach the supreme personality of Godhead. That is denied here. For it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigods go to different planets in the material world. But the devotee of the Supreme Lord goes directly to the supreme planet of the personality of Godhead. Here the point may be raised that if the demigods are different parts of the body of the Supreme Lord, then the same end should be achieved by worshipping them, right? Because as we said that demigods are parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord, but they exist in material world. Yeah. So the confusion is why can't they also reach the same planet? However, worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent because they don't know to what part of the body food must be supplied. Some of them are so foolish that they claim that there are many parts and many ways to supply food. This isn't very sanguine. Can anyone supply food to the body through the ears or eyes? They do not know that these demigods are different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord, and in their ignorance, they believe that each and every demigod is a separate god and a competitor of the Supreme Lord. Not only are the demigods part of the Supreme Lord, but ordinary living entities are also. Yes, demigods and us living entities are all part of the Supreme Lord. Yes. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Brahmins are the head of the Supreme Lord, the Kshatriyas are the arms of the Supreme Lord, the Vaishyas are his waist, and Shudras are his legs, and all serve different functions. Regardless of the situation, if one knows that both the demigods and he himself are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, his knowledge is perfect. But if he does not understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigods reside. This is not the same destination the devotee reaches. Correct? The results achieved by demigods' benedictions are perishable because within the material world, the planets, the demigods, and their worshippers are all perishable. Therefore, it is clearly stated in this verse that all results achieved by worshipping demigods are perishable, and therefore such worship is performed by the less intelligent living entity. Because the pure devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness in devotional service of the Supreme Lord achieves eternal blissful existence that is full of knowledge, his achievements and those of the common worshipper of the demigods are different. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. His favor is unlimited. His mercy is unlimited. Therefore, the mercy of the Supreme Lord upon his pure devotees is unlimited. Let's end here with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha.